Hello, Earthlings. Mike Rondo in the Shed of Solitude. The lighting, actually, I'm very surprised by this. Looks okay. I know you told me not to worry about the lighting last video. I think it was last video, the one before that. And I'm not. I look like a bum. I worked in the yard a little today, cutting the grass and just lounging around, just really lazy. And of course, I got my Air Glue Media lounge around the house weekend type shirt, which you probably see this shirt more than any other shirt in my videos. I don't know, it was on my head today thinking about that. I'm like, you probably see me in this shirt more than any other. But it's a lounge around shirt. But anyway, no review or anything tonight. It's just kind of a shoot the shit kind of video. Pipe thoughts, pipefuls, if you will. And I was kind of inspired this week at work, not because of my job. I don't know, my hat's a little off here, but in any case, I did manage to shave. I need to shave my head because it's a hot mess. But anyway, I'm actually smoking tonight. The Haunted Bookshop, not the cake, the original blend here. And I gotta be honest, my shed is a complete mess here. I gotta actually, well, this has got a little weight to it. We'll go with this one. I haven't used this in a while. In fact, I haven't used many of my other pipes in a while. It's been mostly this one and this one I've been having all summer. The reason I'm having Haunted Bookshop is for some reason, I typically, and I'll probably do it again in November, is I read or I listen to the audiobook of the Haunted Bookshop. And for some reason, I don't know what the hell that was, the other night I decided to listen to it to go to bed. And I've been kind of enjoying the story all over again, so I decided to go with that. But anyway, back to the topic at hand that I was going to discuss. I do hope going in this video, there's two things you get for this. One is the lesson of do whatever the hell you want and who cares what's going on in the world. And two, if this video is absolutely boring, which most of my videos are, it puts you to sleep and relaxes you. So hopefully one of those two things happen. But in any case, there we go. Quick update on the dismiss, or dissim, I call it dismiss, I don't know why. In any case, it's doing pretty well. It's better than the other two that I had, and this lights pretty frequently, although I had a little stumble there. As you saw. I still wouldn't recommend it. But anyway, the other day, I think it was Wednesday, I was at work, and I went out to my lunch, which, by the way, I think it's important if you have a lunch, most of us do. I get a half hour. I leave the building, I go and sit in my Jeep and gather my thoughts, get away from all the co-workers that have annoyed me, all the work that's annoyed me, just to reset and deal with it when you come back. I think it's important to get away from the building for a little bit. So I was sitting there at my lunch. Now, where I worked is a public transportation bus stop. And to say that I see strange, unusual, bizarre, and weird antics from people would be an understatement. But every now and then, you get something that makes you ponder. And that's kind of what happened on Wednesday. I believe it was Wednesday, if I remember right. Because I almost did a video that day. Because I was so, I wouldn't say inspired, but I was intrigued. And that sounds like Rocky, the infamous or notorious Rocky. My neighbor's dog, for those that don't know. Anyway, either that or it's a skunk or something. We'll find out when I leave. So I'm sitting there having my lunch, minding my own business, and I look over at the bus stop. Now, mind you, my job, I see all sorts of characters, all walks of life, all strange people, yet it's kind of, for someone who's very curious about human behavior and the human mind, it does provide some kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't say entertainment, but maybe source material, if you will. subjects to kind of make you think what people are thinking or doing. In any case, this gentleman was at the bus stop. Now, I'll back it up. As I was on my way to lunch, I was walking out the building. There was this guy who was grumpy as could be and just, being a sour person, to be mild about it. He was, complaining there weren't signs where he needed to go or whatever, and he was just being a pompous about it and thinking, everyone's stupid except for him. He's the greatest thing in the world. So I just said, the sign's all over, you just got to look. He didn't like that. Sometimes I can be a sarcastic jerk, but I typically reserve that for people like that. In any case, so I went out. I'm on my lunch now, and I see this gentleman doing his thing. And I noticed him dancing and singing at the bus stop, waiting for the bus. He had like his tablet. I don't know if he had like an iPad mini or whatever the Android equivalent is, but he's just going on and on like he's in a music video. It was funny at first, and I was like, what is this guy up to? Like, you look at him at first, and then you're like, you know what? He's doing him, and good for him. He's just doesn't have a care in the world. When you think about how the world looks like it's burning down to the ground, everywhere you look, everyone's always seems to be complaining the world's falling apart and whatnot, and and you see this gentleman just sitting there. Well, he was standing and he was dancing like he was in a music video, and it made me smile a little bit. I'm like, oh, you know what? Good for him. Not caring about what everyone does. And then what made it better is the grumpy guy who couldn't find the signs he was looking for was in the wrong building and had to go across the street to the other building. But, he knows everything. So he's walking by, and you can see him. He's looking at the guy like, what the hell? He wanted to say something because he's just a malcontent. But he didn't, and the other guy wouldn't have heard me. He had his headphones in anyway, and even if he didn't have headphones in, I don't think he could give two shits, to be honest. And that was the best thing I saw all week. I was like, you do you, boo-boo. And it was great to see. So, and then the other thing I had to popped in my head as well, and I don't know why I came about thinking this. Again, it's death, and death comes up frequently. I think about it quite often. Memento mori, and your demise and whatnot. And it ties back to this gentleman where he's just living life, living in the moment, doing a very stoic thing, actually. He's living in the moment. He's not thinking about the past. He's not thinking about the future. He's just living right then and there and having a great time. And we could all learn a lesson from that. So that was my kind of the lesson I learned. Well, not lesson, but I was just... I don't know, when I see something like that, I have a little bit of hope for humanity that maybe we'll get things right now and then. But it was nice to see. I enjoyed it. He had some pretty good moves. Dare I say, better moves than I had when I was a young man at the clubs dancing to get, well, things. We'll leave it at that. Oh, this is very good. But we did get, actually at work, one of the guys at work who shares some, he's into overlanding like me and stuff, and then one of the ladies at work, we got talking about death and how Ron, my friend at work, he's kind of, he feels it bothers him in a sense, and almost like what I was discussing in my last Memento Mori video, where it's the permanentness of it. Like, it's like, that's it, it's final. And when it's someone young, I think that's what bothered him the most. Like, if it's someone young in their prime and they kind of it gets cut short, you kind of, it doesn't sit right with him, and I get it. And as I was saying, and I sounded cold, I guess you could say, I am human. So, like, if someone was close to me passed away, I would feel those emotions too. I wouldn't be that stoic. I would feel those emotions, but you got to be strong. And and as I told him, it's kind of like you have no control over this. You can't dwell on it. I know it's hard to say, but you can't mope around. and think of how that person was cheated, or you feel cheated because they're not in your life anymore. I've always taken it as, well, unfortunately they're not here, but I'm going to honor them and live my life the best I can and enjoy it. I always found, and of course, I've said that to people, and they're like, yeah, whatever, And it is kind of cliche, and I don't think it really necessarily helps. But I don't know. Anyway, just some thoughts I was thinking there. Well, I don't know why that does that every now and then. It explodes, like the air pressure. I think that's because there's goop in here, and when I hit that, it just pops. But anyway, it does that occasionally. It's more of a user error than lighter error, I think. And the last few times, I gotta admit, I wish I'd caught this on camera, because I like showing my imperfections, which is many. I don't know what happened, but I was near the end of the bowl as I was smoking. Hold on. Near the end of the bowl, almost to the dottle. For those who don't know, the dottle's like the crumbs of the end of the bowl you're smoking. And I don't know what it is. The last two times, I somehow the pipe slipped in my hand and it fell on the ground. I don't know what happened. I don't know what I did. Rather silly. I did turn off the Maine lights, I guess you could say, because it was hot. It's 82 degrees in here, and it's been hot. So I said, well, I'm going to punt, and I'm going to put on the ambient light, I guess you could say, the string lights and whatnot. Seems to be working out. And the other thing I want to mention real quick, I may do this, I'm not sure I'm going to do this. It's not really pipe related, but it has to do with the Jeep and overlanding and camping and stuff, because I have a refrigerator slash freezer, although it's more of a refrigerator, for the Jeep. So when I travel, I have it. I use it every day for lunch and that. And then, of course, I got a power station that powers that all day. And I've been putting it through the paces, and I've had some experience with it, and I want to kind of share for anyone, even if you're not into car camping, overlanding, if you were just like, if you were working and part of a construction crew or something like that, and you did what I did this week or the last couple of weeks, where you take the refrigerator, plug it into the battery, and you use it for the week, you might be interested in it. So I might do a video on that. I haven't decided yet. I don't know if you guys would really be interested in that, but got to mix up a few things, And the other thing I've been dwelling on is the podcast. Now, some of you may know I used to podcast. I used to do the Cantina Cast, the Star Wars podcast, and a handful of other shows in between here that I tried to start, but kind of lost interest, kind of lost the mojo of podcasting and whatnot. But some of you know, as I've been saying for almost 2 years on this channel, I wanted to do a true crime podcast, and I actually had a few ideas for true crime podcasts, and I had one particular about the New Bedford highway killer, because that's like, as Billy Jensen says, that's my white whale, the Moby Dick story, which is ironic because Moby Dick, New Bedford, the whaling capital city of the world, so it kind of goes. But this has been a crime that's been on my mind since it happened back in 1988, and I was going to do a podcast on it. But however, the information on it is so scarce, and I'm not sure I could make a show of it. I hope to do it someday, and I want to do it someday. So I was thinking, and I talked to a good friend of mine, and I said, well, what do you think of this idea where I do a show it's true crime, obviously. I would call it True Crime in My Lifetime, because I figured I could cover everything in my lifetime that has always interested me true crime-wise, and I can get that itch out. And the first couple of episodes, I would actually focus on the New Bedford Highway Killer to at least shed some light. More so than other podcasts, because other podcasts have only done one episode, maybe 2 episodes at the most. I'd like to give it a little more detail as much as I possibly could. But again, the information is so scarce, and that bugs me more than anything, because this killer is just slipping away, just like Jack the Ripper, just like the Zodiac. And the funny thing is, we got more on Jack the Ripper and the Zodiac than this guy. This creep is just flown under the radar, and it's been forgotten by quite a bit. Not they're the ones that matter still care, but it kind of bugs me. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe not. I was kind of doing a list the other day of what to cover and when to cover, and a lot of them, the first ones, were a lot of true crime that happened around here, which popular at the moment, like it was like the hit piece of the time, like in the 90s. A lot of it was in the 90s. The 90s was an interesting decade for true crime and crazy things that happened here in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut, in New England in general, with true crime, of course, New York. So a lot of it might be focused northeast centric in the first several episodes that I do. Cases that, like I said, when it happened, it got national attention for like a day or two, maybe a week. And then it kind of fizzled out, but it was big here, just not national. So some cases I think would interest people, like, really, that happened there? And wow, I didn't know about that. I think some people would be interested in that. I don't know. We'll see. So I feel like that probably going to happen in 2023, April-ish. Kind of coincide when the murders actually started late March of '88. So maybe March, April, around there. We'll see. I'll still do pipe stuff. This channel is all about pipes. Majority, 99% of it. But I do want to mix things up, you know. This is really hitting the spot, man. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but maybe I did. And I'll end this video in a few minutes. It's just a general chat. There's a trail up in Maine called the Golden Mile that I may try to do around my birthday in October. Kind of my first foyer, what is foyer, right? I guess that's what they say. Well, first go about car camping, or I don't know if I'll camp, to be honest. I don't have my tent. I could sleep in the Jeep. That wouldn't be a big deal. I did that in the past when I was younger. My first Jeep. So it's about 5 hours away. 5.5, 5 hours, 5.5-ish. I may stay overnight at a hotel, get up in the morning and go hit it. It's 100 miles. So it might take a couple of days. So we'll see. I don't know. I might do that just because it's not, the only problem is, and I think I did mention this because I mentioned the logging road, and it's, I'm worried about the loggers running me off the road because they ain't stopping for shit. And they don't care who's on that, as if it's their road, not ours. So I may try to do that. Maybe some of it, maybe not all of it. It would be fun to get to the Canadian border and come back. Maybe turn around on the Canadian border. Maybe they'll chase me. Who knows? Anyway, the other thing I've noticed, it's like summer has kind of ended real quick. Like we had those 90, 95 degrees, pool was great, lovely, fun times, and then August 4th hit, and then it like just kind of went into, Yep, there's Rocky. We're coming down now. We're not the high temps aren't coming down. Are gonna be around anymore. So I bought all the pool stuff today to close the pool. I may do that next week, just to get a jump on things, because I don't think we're gonna have a Indian summer, as they say around here. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe you guys like this little impromptu smoking a pipe, just casually talking about whatever. I've done this before in the past, not like as long as this, but you might see more of these, because I had some philosophical thoughts, some just general like life observations that I'd like to discuss with you guys. I always love the comments in the chats. I don't always get to respond to them. I do give a heart and a thumbs up every time you, even the negative ones, because, you know, gotta give a little love to the person, even if they disagree with me or think I'm an idiot. You know, you took the time to say something, so I'll acknowledge that. But yeah, I get some ideas, and I love sharing with you guys. I love getting the feedback you guys give me, especially with the pipe smoking. You guys give me all these ideas, and I'm like, huh, I didn't think of that. Well, that's going to do it for this video. And I don't know where. This has happened to me twice today. First, now I had a cigar earlier, and I lost my favorite cigar lighter. I've had this thing for, I don't know, since 2009, maybe even earlier than that, 2000, probably 2005, I think, or 6. And this thing is a beast. It goes through everything. It's been through everything. And you know what the funny thing is? I had this lighter for probably a decade before I learned that these were hole punches right here. Like, I don't know if the camera's going to... There we go. I learned that these are hole punches. And I like punching a cigar now. I don't like cutting it. I prefer punching it. So it took me forever to figure out what that was. Which I thought was amusing. But anyway, so I couldn't find that today, and luckily I found it. It was over here, because this was an absolute disaster. I got to redo the shed, get things ready for the winter. I got to redo, there will be a video on it, because my Mr. Buddy heater melted the handle that was on it, that was holding the metal part that was holding the fan on there. So we're going to redo that, and I will do a video on that. Because I know you guys like the shed videos that I do where, you know, how I'm prepping. I didn't get a chance to put an air conditioner in here, which dampened a lot of my videos this year because it was just too hot. And I was kind of lazy and I just enjoyed summer, so I didn't do as many videos as I normally would do. But I am probably going to cut a hole in the shed and put an air conditioner in here next spring. Or I'm going to try to find a little apartment air conditioner for somewhere over there. I have a window over there. We'll see. I'm working on it. There's always a floor air conditioning and all that, but we got a year to go before we get into that. So, where was I going with this? I forgot where I was going. I lost my train of thought, which is another thing that's come up. I just remembered. I'll get to that thought after this thought. So I lost the lighter, and then now I don't know where it is. I think it's outside on the table, or in the house, is my leather strap to hold my pipe. I don't know where it is. And I'm a little nervous because I've had that thing since I've gotten into pipe smoking. That was like one of the first things. I don't even smoke my original pipe that I have because there's a hole in it. It came like that. I didn't put that there. And that was the only thing I kept, was that leather strap thing. And I don't know where the hell it is. And I'm going to have to, it's going to drive me crazy. I'll find it tomorrow when out of nowhere. But the other thing I wanted to mention real quick, and I'm a little concerned about it. If anyone, I've had COVID back in March. Was it March? Oh, it was May. I think it was May. Might have been May. I can't remember. And one of the side effects seems to be memory loss. And my short-term memory was spotty at best the last decade. Now, it's like complete garbage. I'm a little concerned about it. I think this is the long-lasting side effect that I got from COVID, which, to be honest, when you think about it, isn't all that bad. I believe my brother had a stroke. So, well, that kind of concerns me too, because maybe memory loss is an early sign of getting a a stroke, so I'm a little concerned. But maybe I'll go get the doctor, have him check me out, and say, "Ah, you're fine, you idiot." We'll see. But I've talked to a few other people that have had similar things that have happened. Anyway, I've rambled on long enough. Actually, I'm using a little box here. I'm just putting it right here to hold it. It works out all right. There's a little lip there. It holds it pretty good. Not bad. Not a bad solution temporarily. I was a little nervous before I got on here. I was like, what the hell am I going to use? And I tried to use the lighter here at the end because I thought my geniusness, it was going to like fit. But this pipe, not so much. Maybe it'll fit. Let's see. Let's do a little experimentation here. That ain't going to work. That's not going to work. I should have went with this pipe had I been thinking. There's a flat right there, flat bottom. Wouldn't have had an issue at all. Would have been fine. Hindsight 2020, right, as they say. And these aren't going to work because it's the same thing as the shed pipe there, the 7L. It's not going to work. But it was a thought. I thought that would be pretty cool if the DISM, that little loop would have worked for a pipe stand. I thought that would have been ingenious, but it didn't work. So DISM, you got to make these things a little better quality and maybe open this up to be a pipe holder. I don't know. Just a thought, throwing it out there as R&D ambassador, unofficially, of course. I have no relation to this company at all. They don't know I even exist. But that would be pretty cool. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I've gone on long enough and bored you to death, and probably 90% of you fell asleep, which is okay by me. But anyway, I'm out of here. Thanks for joining me. And if you made it this far, you're awesome. And I'll see you guys next time.